How's it going, everybody? This is Derek Brown Jr. with the Good Relationships Podcast, and this is episode 4. I was broke off of the last podcast a little bit early, so I wanted to break into a part 2 of when is the right time to get into relationships. And I just want to briefly go over the last podcast, and that's basically if you're in the right time at the right place, you'll basically know it because you'll be giving off such a good energy. You'll be going through such good things in life that nobody could come in and ruin it for you. So if that's you and you feel like you're working towards your dreams every day, you feel like you're around the right people in life, you feel like you don't even need a relationship, you're not even looking for a relationship, then that is most likely the best time for you to pursue a relationship or to have someone pursue you in a relationship, because you'll know that no matter what happens, you'll be okay because you have accepted that you are okay being single and you can do life by yourself just okay. Like, you can do life without needing the support of anybody else. And that's not like my goal to say that you should do life like that, but it's so much better when you know that you can take care of yourself and that you'll be okay without someone, because then they'll never feel like they have like some kind of control over you. And that's like the whole goal that I preach against. And it's just like, I could never ever approve of myself, at least, being in a relationship that one of us has some kind of control of the other person, whether that being like money or a place that one person isn't really paying for, or they're just at a really bad place in life and the other person is at a really good place in life, and they seem to be like dependent on the other person. And once again, that's okay to be in that situation if you really want to help somebody out. But as a person who believes that it's fully possible to find someone else who is in a really good spot in life and that has like some of the same values as you and have some similar goals as you, I think it's completely possible to find a relationship that can best fully support that. And if you're thinking that you are not in that kind of place, like if you think that you're just the person that is not giving off a good energy and you're not in a place of happiness and you don't think anybody wants to be around you right now, then all I have to say is this: there is a way for you to get to that place. There is a place for you to get that happiness and get to a place where you're not necessarily looking for relationships anymore, but you're just starting to attract relationships. And attract is a very strong word that I use, because to attract something, you're giving off some kind of energy. For insects or bugs, I believe it's called a pheromone or whatever, and it's basically something that you're giving off, and people can just see it. They gravitate towards it because you're just radiant. Like, you're giving off smiles all the time. You're talking about your life and all the time. You're giving off such positivity to people, and you're just blessing people's lives all the time. And that's just something that people want to be around. Nobody wants to be around someone who's like sad all the time, or anxious, or like negative, or gossiping, or there's so many things that you can say that are just red flags for other people that you probably don't even realize that you're giving off at the time. So the big thing is just to like really just focus inward and focus on yourself. So if you're not in a place where you feel like you're at the right time, as it will call it, to date someone, then date yourself. Date yourself, because dating yourself will create so many joyful moments. And you're like, well, how do I date myself? So how I date myself is doing all the things that I know that I enjoy doing, or even things that I would do with somebody else as a couple, and I'm doing it by myself. So, for example, I would go see a movie by myself, or I would go out to eat by myself to a nice restaurant, or I would go take a trip by myself. And you're like, well, that's probably not any fun. But it actually is, because you start to realize, like, wow, there's a lot that I didn't know about myself. And you don't really recognize that until you get so much time alone. Like, we don't realize it, but we're so distracted by social media. We're so distracted by the negativity in the world. We're distracted by the news and all the things that aren't positive in the world that we very rarely get time alone by ourselves. And we're constantly seeking relationships in life that really distract us from really getting to know ourselves. So it really makes sense that we get to a point in life where people ask us what we want, dream-wise and just life-wise, and most people just say, I don't know. And that's because you haven't spent that time alone. So you need to date yourself. You need to figure out the things that you like to do. And yeah, some of those times may be kind of sad. You may see other people in relationships that are happy, but I guarantee you'll see relationships that aren't doing so well either, and you'll start to appreciate the fact that you aren't in one. And you'll start to kind of play around with the kind of relationship that you actually want. And a good tool to use to figure out the kind of relationship that you want would be looking at the kind of person you are, writing down a list of all the things you would like and the person that you want to be with, and then slowly, as you're single, working on those things to become that person. Because as you become that person, you'll start to attract that person. And you're like, what does that even mean, right? So if I want some really good looking girl who's in great shape, who has a great career, then it should only make sense that I do the best that I can to groom myself and get in the gym and work on my career so that I can naturally just meet girls like that. You see what I'm saying? So it makes sense when you start to see couples that are looking just alike each other. And it's like, yeah, you'll attract what you are most times out of life. Like, you'll attract ugliness if you're being ugly. You'll attract beautifulness if you're being beautiful, or greatness if you're striving for greatness. And you'll meet those people who are at those same places in life, who are doing the same kind of things. Like, if you're a very spiritual person and you want another spiritual person, you probably already know where you should go. You're probably going to go exactly where you go to receive your, spiritual guidance. So that may be a church for you, or somewhere, I don't know. But regardless, that's where you would go to find those kind of people. There's a kind of person at a place for any person that you are. So, like, let me rephrase that. There's a place that has a person that you're looking for. And you will naturally find that person if you're naturally just going where you want to go. Because where you want to go is where you need to go. And where you need to go should be where your dreams are. And that should be the path that you're following. Because if you're following your dreams, then you won't miss. Like, you'll be going exactly where you need to go, and everything will start to work out perfectly. And how do you even get to that point where you're working towards your dreams and being single and dating yourself, and you're being happy alone, and you're seeing all these other relationships, and you're like, oh, I'm good by myself? It's like, how do you even do that, right? So you do that by first getting rid of all of any negative energy that you have towards anybody in your past. Yes, you have to forgive them. It doesn't matter if they did you worse and worser than anybody. It's like, if they broke your heart, I'm so sorry. I truly am. It's happened. I guarantee you can take a walk down the block and find maybe 7 more people who have a similar story. All I can say is it doesn't matter, because that is not going to hurt the person that hurt you. Like, you being in your feelings, you not living your life, you still being sad about those memories is not going to affect the person that did those things to you. You have to forgive them, not just for their sake, but for your sake, so that you can start to work towards your happiness again. And if you don't let that stuff go, then you'll never move on. You'll never start to really find that peace inside, or you'll never be able to truly start to love yourself again. So you have to get rid of all the negative things in your past. You have to say, I forgive you to all the people who've done you wrong. You have to say, I forgive you to all the people who are currently doing you wrong. And you have to break open into a new door to where you're at a new place in life. So once you have that clean slate, you can easily say, okay, I want to create the new disciplines in life to work towards being a better me. And you can start by figuring out what you want in life. So if you're a single person, there should be absolutely nothing stopping you to getting where you want to be. And if you're saying, well, I don't have money to get to where I'm going, or I don't have, friends or family who would support me to get to where I'm going, it's like, you really don't need any of that. All you need is your dream and a plan, and the rest will fall into place. And you're like, well, does that even make sense? And then, yes, it does. For example, there are times that I guarantee you've gone through in life where you didn't know how you were going to get what you wanted, but you imagined having it so bad that it just came to life as you started to live it. And the best example that I can give to you that may work for everyone is there had to have been some kind of birthday gift or something that you wanted as a kid, and you just saw it pop up on TV maybe, and you've seen it so many times, and then you started to imagine yourself having it. And once you start to imagine yourself having it, you start to think like, well, how can I get it? And that's really the big question that you need to ask yourself, is how can I get what I want? And once you ask yourself that question, then it makes it easier for your mind to start making those connections to create the plan to get what you want. And once you start to create that plan, all you have to do is start taking action in that plan. And as long as you take action in that plan and don't stop, then you'll get exactly what you want. I guarantee you, as a kid, you asked so many people for a way to get that gift. So you may have asked for money, you may have told your parents, like, this is what I want, and surely enough, I guarantee it manifested in front of you. You came around on your birthday and you got the exact gift that you wanted. And it's almost like magic, and you're like, oh, well, you ask and you shall receive. And it's like, well, you definitely had that in your mind before you had it in your hands. So think about what you want as a person in life and who you want to be in life as the same concept. Think about who you want to be, the best person you want to be, and imagine yourself as that. Imagine yourself being that successful person who has everything together, who has all that happiness, and then bring it back to where you are currently in life, and take that moment and take that energy and let that be your guide to how to actually get to where you want to be. Let that be a roadmap to where you want to be in life. So think of it as a GPS. You're at point A, and where you want to be is point B. So you have an idea of what you want to be in life, and though you've never been to any places in between point A and point B, as long as you place point B into that GPS, wherever you are, even leaving point A is going to get you exactly where you want to be in life. It's going to get you exactly to point B. Even if there's a roadblock here, a roadblock there, you're going to eventually get to point B. I can promise you that. So figure out what your point B is in life. Figure out what you want, and then put all of your energy your time and intention into becoming that person. And as long as you stay positive, and as long as you don't quit, and as long as you don't let the naysayers and the people around you stop you or kind of stray you from that goal, you'll reach point B before you know it. And you'll have to create a new point B. So what's my point? So my point is, as long as you're working towards this point B, you're going to meet other people who are also working towards, their point B or their goals and their dreams in life. And that's just going to become so attractive to you, because you're going to realize that people who have passions or dreams in life or disciplines in life, they give off a way better energy. They're not so distracted, or they're not so controlled by everything around them, but they're the people that are giving back. They're the people that are helping other people. They're the people who are overseas and building schools in Africa. These are the people that have given their time to become doctors and whatnot, and they're doing all kinds of amazing work, and they're the people that are celebrities or on TV. And it's really easy to say that if you're watching someone else on like a TV screen all the time, then you're probably not using your time really effectively, because those people, they're not watching you on TV. They're being watched, and they're doing what they love to do the most. They're the actor that wanted to be an actor. They're the actress that wanted to be an actress, and they're following their dreams. And they're not really worried about who's watching necessarily. They're just really living in the moment and being passionate. So that's exactly how you get to being in that place where you're going to give off that vibe and that energy. So once you decide that you're ready to become a new person, and you're deciding to take advantage of your singleness, then you can really start to do some amazing things. You can start to read some new books that you really have never thought about reading. You can start to learn some new concepts, some new skills. You can even start reading relationship books and whatnot, or parenting books if you're a parent and you're a single parent.